What's up guys, I'm Josh Mosman. Welcome to This Week in MXA, episode number 240, presented by O'Neill Racing. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. 2027 is already here. Just kidding, not quite. 2026 is almost here, but we have a preview of the 2027 Honda CRF450 just 5 weeks after they announced the entrance of their 2026 Honda CRF250 and 450 models. No changes for 2026, but we see some big changes on the horizon for 2027. Let's look into it. This news from Europe comes at an exciting time where we have a couple weeks off here in the AMA Championship, and now we have some exciting news to talk about with Honda over in the MXGP Championship. They raced 13 rounds, and after the last round in Finland, they had a 2-week break, and during that break, Ruben Fernandez and the HRC Honda team went to work testing the prototype version of their 2027 Honda CRF450. All new bike. Looking at photos of this bike compared to the 2025 and 26 models, looks like an updated frame, updated swing arm, but most notably is an updated engine. MXA, we have been long fans of the Honda CRF450. The engine has been relatively the same since 2021 when the bike was all new. We've loved the engine back then and we still love it today. However, the complaints for us have always been with the chassis. They've made updates to the chassis as recently as last year, 2025. Then 5 weeks ago, Honda announced 2026 models will be identical to the 2025 models. Same chassis, same engine, same graphics, even identical bikes for 2026. But they were not smooth in releasing their new bike over in Europe. They were not afraid to announce that they got a future updates in the works and an all new bike as far as the CRF450 goes. From the outside, the frame and swing arm don't look all too different, but we do expect them to be different, as that's what Honda is always focused on, is improving the handling of their bike. But the engine is something that you can clearly see through photos, through videos, is completely different, as well as the bodywork. The airbox looks bigger, the shrouds are completely unique as well. And then the engine, the clutch looks a little bit taller, the top end looks different, the bottom end looks different, the water pump configuration, that looks different. Oil filler cap, oil filter, everything's moved around and shuffled around inside that CRF450 engine, and it looks pretty interesting. One thing that's caught everyone's eye on social media is the radiators. They look very wide and unique. It almost looks from a few different angles like it has one single radiator going across the front of the engine, but then where you see photos from the front where you can see a split between the radiators where the frame down tube comes down. So it's pretty interesting, pretty exotic, and kind of surprising that Honda didn't do a better job trying to hide this, especially when they're trying to sell 2026 models for the next year. You would think that they would just put some of the current plastics on top of their prototype and test it that way, but no, they're not scared. They're going all in with an all new bike, racing the MXGP World Championship with Ruben Fernandez. So after round 13, the HRC Honda team spent 2 weeks with Ruben developing and getting comfortable on that bike. Of course, they have other test riders that have been developing this bike for a while, but now they allow their factory rider to jump on it, get a feel for it, and he said, let's go racing with it, and he did awesome at the MXGP of the Czech Republic in Loket. Round 14 of the series, Ruben Fernandez came into this round 4th place in the MXGP World Championship standings, and he did awesome and finished 4th overall on a brand new bike. So Honda was not afraid to talk about their prototype, and they're very proud of it. After just the first weekend of racing, Ruben Fernandez talked about how he was thankful for the new bike, and even their team manager talked about it as well. He said it's been a busy couple weeks since Finland, as the team has been working on getting this prototype Honda CRF450R up to speed, and I think we can say that everyone has done an amazing job. It isn't easy to come into this championship midway with a brand new bike and finish 3rd place on the qualifying race on Saturday. So a big round of applause for everyone in the factory in Japan and here in Europe, also to Ruben for being able to prove it in race conditions. So MXGP is a works bike championship. You're allowed to race prototypes over there. There's no requirements on the production rule. The production rule was implemented here in AMA racing in 1986, which means that Jet Lawrence, Hunter Lawrence, Eli Tomac, they have to start out with production-based bikes. They are allowed to add material and brace the frame and make it heavier, make it stiffer by adding material, but they aren't allowed to take away material from the frames, and they aren't allowed to change the geometry of the frames either. So we have more strict rules here in the US, which is supposed to keep things a little more tight, as a little more fair, keep the factory teams from spending crazy money, and also allow the privateers to race on stuff that's at least closer to what the factory guys have. But over in Europe, you can race anything. The MXGP Championship definitely gets exciting because of that prototype works bike rule that allows them to race anything over there. It makes it more interesting to keep an eye on the technology they got going on, and a great proving ground and testing ground for the factories to develop new bikes, prove it on the MXGP World Championship before they sell it to the world. So cool stuff from MXGP, but unfortunately for Honda riders, this won't be coming until 2027. Another topic is the Washougal National. We just posted our video last week from that episode and from that race, and Washougal was a lot of fun. It was awesome to see our Pacific Northwest fans of motocross action up there. Our video was focused around how much does it cost to race an AMA National. We appreciate all the support and comments on that video. I did a good job of breaking apart how much it cost for me to travel from Southern California up there, do the race, and come back. I also asked Eli Tomac, Chase Sexton, Hayden Deegan in the pre-race interview video on our YouTube channel how much they think it costs to race a national, and for them and their teams to go out there and do it. So it was pretty fun to talk about the details. But one major detail I didn't include in the video is how much I got paid for finishing 32nd overall in the 450 class. One reason is because I haven't been paid yet, but I have been paid from Paula and Hangtown, and I can tell you I finished 35th overall at Hangtown, 39th overall when I got a DNF at Paula, and that gave me $1,280. So $1,280 for 39th and 35th at the first two nationals. Split that apart into 4 motos, and that's about around $400 a moto is what I got in the 450 class. So 32 at Washougal, I'm guessing will be around the $750, $800, maybe $850 mark, but it does take a couple weeks before you get that direct deposit. So that's one reason why I didn't include it in that video. But if you haven't seen that video yet, it was a fun time following me around through my day of racing at Washougal. Not the results I expected or hoped for, but man, motocross is a challenging sport. We test bikes, we race dirt bikes, and I'm not completely discouraged. I got some ideas on thinking I could be better for next year, so I'm sure we'll be back at the Nationals again in 2026. But I do have a short little interview with Ty Rayfield from Club MX Yamaha. He's the suspension technician over there. I saw some cool stuff on their shocks. I had to ask him about it.
What's the story here on these shocks?
They the Turbys shock socks.
Yeah.
Talon Roland is the Turbys guy, and he put us onto it.
Yeah.
But I have seen them before back in Australia. We used to run them a lot of the time to protect our fork and our shock. Mainly from when we used in Australia, we used to use it for desert racing. So on the rocks, they'd flick off the wheels and then hit the shaft, all the tubes on the forks, and damage them. So we used to run them all the time there. But yeah, these are the ones we run just to protect it from sand, mud, all that sort of stuff.
That's cool.
So they help the seal life and shaft life, and also your shock body as well.
Yeah, and just make it nice for a suspension guy taking it on and off to be a little cleaner, right?
Real easy, yeah. You pull them off, and all you need to do is slip it up to wash it, and then slip it back on, and off it goes.
That's cool.
Yeah,
and you're doing all the Club MX guys suspension in-house?
Yeah, all in-house now. We have our own suspension room and all that stuff there, so we do everything in-house now. And I was here today, Valvin, and changing the settings today for the boys, for Cody and Max and Alex today. For Washougal, a bit harder pack. So we changed a few settings and bits and pieces. But
what do you do for Washougal?
A little bit softer, a little bit plusher, freer shock. Fork, we don't change a hell of a lot, to be honest, just a few clicker settings.
Yeah.
But the shock, just to get the drive on the edges, little edgy stuff when you're always on the edge of the tyre. Need a bit more bump absorption and comfort just there to get some grip on the sidewall of the tyre. Yeah.
That's cool. Cool. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
After the Washougal National was a quick trip back down to Southern California for the Glen Helen PanicRev Christian Motocross Camp. A lot of fun. We were blessed with some amazing weather last Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at Glen Helen, and the Glen Helen track crew took care of us as well. Great tracks, watered, prepped each day, and it was a ton of fun with campers for Camp Rev. Check out this interview I got little right here with a couple clips from the PanicRev camp with MXA's Brian Medeiros and myself. Camp Rev Summer Camp 2025, first time back at Glen Helen since 5 years now. I think 4 or 5 years since we've been here at Glen Helen. I am so stoked. Disco Dave has been doing an awesome job keeping the tracks watered for us. Summer camp, you need water, and it's very important, so I'm thankful for that. Glen Helen dirt does get a hard base, but for people who don't know, who've never been here, it actually comes back to life when you add some water to it. It's pretty impressive how good the dirt comes back to life. So yeah, if you let it get dry, you'll get a hard pack, but a little bit of water, it comes out. So Camp Rev, ton of fun out here. Trainers, are doing well. We got Brian Medeiros on the track training today, and yeah, what's your first experience at Camp Rev like?
Man, it's crazy. A lot of people, good turnout. Glen Helen is, you know, we love this place. We're always here. We have our mailbox set up out front. So yeah, it's a good time. A lot of people here. Everybody's super stoked, which is nice. Everybody's stoked just to be here, just to have a good time. Like Josh said, the track crew is doing an amazing job keeping water in the dirt. So
Camp Rev is faith, family, moto. If you're not here with us, you can join us at the Washougal camp August 18th, 19th, and 20th. I'm not sure. I said in our last week's video that I'm not going to be there, but there's a chance that I might end up there. So we'll have to see about that one. But PanicRev, a lot of fun. And yeah, if you guys want to learn more about the camps, check out panicrev.org. Follow them on Instagram. And yeah, I think it's time to get back on the track. Also, while I was out at PanicRev having fun in the sun training riders at Glen Helen, Josh Fout and Trevor Nelson were up in the high desert testing the new 2026 Triumph TF450-E enduro bike. Pretty cool for Triumph already to have an off-road model specifically ready to take the trails, and Josh Fout was a resident MXA off-road tester, and he was up there breaking apart the details on that bike. So Triumph went all in on the off-road bike, and they also did some updates to their 2026 Triumph TF450-X. That bike is coming with an updated clutch, updated mapping, updated suspension settings, updated muffler, updated airbox. Pretty cool for Triumph, already making big updates to, maybe not so big updates, but they're already making refinements to their 2026 TF450-X. So we're excited to get our hands on that bike. But also, Josh Fout in this video did some reviewing and some details on the bike while he was riding, speaking into the GoPro. So check out that video of him tearing apart the TF450-E, and let us know in the comments if you like that style of review where he's talking while he's riding, or if you prefer just talking after the moto. Either way, good times. Thanks to Josh Fout and Trevor Nelson for covering that bike. Check out that video on our channel. And speaking of Josh Fout, Josh also lives in Big Bear, and he is going to be one of the guys helping out with the Big Bear Grand Prix. We're super excited for that. I'll be up there racing. Josh will be up there racing. Let's head to him and hear from him now.
What's up, guys? Josh Fout here with MXA. I'm at Bear Mountain. Chairlifts, boxes and rails. Generally when there's an event here, it's made with snow. In less than a month, August 21st through the 24th, we're gonna be racing the Big Bear GP. I walked the track with Swap Moto's Aaron Cook and his track builder Justin. They have some sick plans for us. We're gonna be ripping the half pipes right behind me, GNCC style tree section that will help slow lap times down. And it's gonna be tons of pure motocross, old school, off cambers, bumps in the corners. It's gonna be rad. It's really gonna be a good time. I believe this is brought to you by O'Neill and Bear Mountain, so two really cool sponsors to have on board. We're gonna be out here racing, the entire MXA crew. This is quite literally my backyard, but if you see any of us out here, me, Josh Moseman, Brian Medeiros, Stapletons, the Bushnell family, please say what's up. If you got any questions, holler at us, and we're stoked to see you here.
That's right, motocross is taking over Big Bear Mountain. It's going to be a ton of fun. Dirt bikes at the ski resort, and it's going to be a blast. Signups open this Friday, August 1st, and you better get signed up quickly because there's only 750 spots open, and I think it's going to sell out. The buzz around this place is pretty high right now. It's going to be an exciting one for local racers in Southern California, with also some people traveling from all over to come and join us at this race. So first annual at Big Bear. It's going to be a lot of fun. Signups open August 1st. Races are on August 21st is check-in day, Thursday. August 22nd, Friday, will be practice day on the mountain. August 23rd and 24th, Saturday and Sunday, will be racing up there, Grand Prix style off-road racing. It's a brand new track they're building just for this event, and it's going to be a ton of fun. So MXA's Josh Fout will be there. I'll be there. The rest of the crew, we're excited to go support this event and see and have some fun on the mountain. It's going to be pretty cool. Thank you guys for watching this episode. Other stuff coming up, 2026 KX450. We'll be testing that bike this week, plus more videos coming to our YouTube channel and our website. Be sure to subscribe to the MXA YouTube channel to make sure you're up to date on our latest videos. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.